What up, what up, what up? Bankroll Tim bedded up in here, working on the Cadillac. Now, it is taking a little longer to do because, again, this car was jacked up. So, I have the parts that I'm going to be using. So, B-body, lower, double adjustable control arms. 22 inches is what this car is. That's what B-bodies are, blah, blah, that's the lower. Now the upper, I'll be making. So cut that to make the two sides what I want them to be. What I did is I used a G-body lower. So I have to weld everything together, make the arm the length that I want, boom. Got the super drop boxes, boom. Got the weld on 11-hole strip. Boom. I bought this to use as the uppers because these get welded together and they're on an angle. But I may not use these. So, you gotta put it all together. You gotta have, some skill. Not like this bullshit. Anyways, so went through, I cut these brackets off. Like I was saying, cut all this shit off. I cut those strips. I'll be able to use those later on. Those are a 9-hole. I'll be able to clean them up, use them on something, later on. It's always good to, if you can save some shit, save some shit. You never know what you're gonna run into. But, again, these are gonna get cut off and I'm gonna make the setup here. What we were looking at with this is that, you see how wide the control arm, yeah, of course it's gonna block it. See how wide the control arm is? And then look at that bolt. That's the nut side. And the bolt side, how the fuck from the factory does this bolt even have any room to come out? But you can see that this has been bent. So they flexed this open. They took the nut off, boom, flexed it open, slid the bolt out somehow. I mean, obviously this arm's in here. I can't figure it out, but I'll get it out. If I gotta cut, damn, I got my headlamp on and it's blocking everything. But if I gotta cut that setup out of there and put my own setup in there, I mean, that's pretty flimsy. Like I said, this car does have an LSX 376 in it. But if I gotta put my own upper setup in there, I'll put my own setup in there. Same thing that side, boom. I got those just holding the rear end up in here, obviously. Like I said, you guys can see that those don't, that one's over farther than this one. The way they welded it, I can't, there's just no way I could just let the car leave with that setup on there. And I found cracks in it. Damn it, this headlamp ain't working too good for what I want right here. Blocking, shadowing, whatever. Anyways, a crack right through here. Anyways, all that bullshit coming off, boom. So I'm in here cutting, making a mess, boom. I've been having to wait for shit, take care of other shit, boom. Grab this 79 four-door right here for my kid, he wanted it. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but the 79 Caprice, I gotta save these old cars. Power windows, power locks. He's changing the steering wheel. We had a Grant wheel laying around. Well, we need the adapter piece, so get a Grant wheel. Man, this headlamp is making me mad. It's blocking all my angles. Yep, the Malibu's still up here, boom. My buddy hasn't had time to come over and clean the underneath like he wants to. He's gonna wire wheel the underneath of the car, clean up all the areas where, he wants to paint it all. So, I mean, it's a solid car. So he's gonna do all that, boom. So, I mean, not that big of a deal. Boom. The big deal is the Cadillac. The owner's gonna try to find some upper controller for the front of it. So that way we can align it much better and all that shit. So hopefully somebody out there is making parts, suspension parts, more suspension parts for these cars. And an idler arm. Anybody know anything about a 67 Cadillac front idler arm? This one's got play in it. I don't know where to get a new one. they got those reconditioned shit from like California, where, you know, they take the old parts and like recondition it. But this one looks like it's newer. It's got a lot of play in it. And with these cars, the way the front suspensions are set up for the steering and all that, the rear steer, it needs to be a nice, strong idler. So if anybody knows anything, let me know. I'm gonna get it. But yeah, now dude, this 79 right here, original 350 car, starts right up, runs good, trains the shot, turbo 350. You can see somebody painted it. It's got a lot of orange peel, but the car's all one color. So I'd be thinking it's original vinyl top car because there's so much work that was done to the top. The quarters, they cut, you see it bowed out right there, but they cut squares out to cut the rust out. But then when they put the patch panel over it, whatever they made for a patch panel, they put it over it instead of putting it inside the cut. You know what I'm saying? Not like inside to where you filled it with mud, but lined it up with the exact cut. I don't know why they didn't do that. Well, they put the metal on the outside over that, so then you can see it's bowed out at the bottom. Anyways, I'm all over the place right now with this shit. The 9-inch, that has been laying on the floor over there. You guys watch the video. The 9-inch, that's been laying over there, up on the bench. Got the super drop boxes welded to the table, all squared up, boom. I got the housing set at 0 with those on there, boom. We fabricate rear ends because we're, you know, I'm a custom fabrication shop. Bedded Up Customs. Customs is spelled with a K because it's custom. We narrow rear ends, we fab rear ends. The super drop boxes, you know, there's so many people that go, oh, well, you don't need it. Oh, the car doesn't have no power. Oh, this and that, blah, blah. Later on, whatever happens with the car, you could own the car, not have that big of a motor. You can end up selling the car. It's worth more with all this adjustable shit on here. Adjustments right there will make the car hook. So, you know, some people are like, oh, you don't need to go down that far. Oh, this, all that, boom. Whatever. I'm a custom shop. I do it my way. It's custom. It's all fabricated. This one needs to be narrowed some. The end's cut off. The 9-inch, of course. When we put the end on, we're going to clock the end. Boom. We were the first ones in the area, in Chicago, in Illinois, whatever. First ones ever clock a housing end to clear the caliper to a frame. These guys were out there notching frame calipers. I did it, you know, years ago, would notch a frame in certain areas, you know, to clear the caliper and stuff like that. But clock the ends, move the caliper down, boom. The boxes are in far enough to where you got plenty of room for the caliper clearance here. Cars with stock boxes here, you know, control arm, that's what I call this. Lower control arm mount boxes, whatever, are sometimes too close, then you have to cut into the side of it. I mean, I've done all that shit over the years. I don't do that shit no more. So what? It takes me a little longer to cut the stock bottom off, just like that housing, you know, it's all cut off, boom. So what? But now when it's done, it's custom fabbed. It's my shit, you know. Some people still don't get it. I mean, how hard is it to order a rear end, a 9-inch quick performance rear end, call them up, order it. Yeah, I need it for a G-body, and I need it to be 4 inches shorter overall. So that would be 2 inches shorter on that side, 2 inches shorter on that side, boom. And you bolt it in the car, right? And you weld this bracket and you put the coilovers in the car. Not too much custom there, you know. Buying rear ends that are ready to go with that bracket already on there, and you're bolting it in the car. You know, I mean, there's quite a few places out there doing this shit, and everybody's getting better. But the one thing about big rim cars and big rim racing and all this shit, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, no chassis shop, no race car shop wanted to touch a big rim car. They didn't believe in that shit. They thought it was ghetto ass shit, this and that. So there's people out there like, man, I've been telling you guys, you need to go to a chassis shop and stop paying these other places all these big ass prices. call some of these chassis shops, okay, these big known chassis shops, and ask them and see what their price is going to be. Their price is going to be way higher. And then there's the places that you go to because they tell you, oh yeah, a couple thousand. Then you get there, you drop your car off, this and that, and the next thing you know, they're calling you and telling you, oh, you need this. Oh no, I can't use those parts, got to use these parts, which some of that's understandable. But then you turn around at the end, you know, you're 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000 more. And then they just enter like, oh, well, this is what we had to do, so you got to pay. Me, I'm upfront about everything. The cost is the cost, this and that. We might run into a problem. If we run into a problem, I'll let you know, boom. But at the end, there's never no hidden fee or hidden big prices out the ass, you know. But anyways, custom fabrication. In here, one guy, one man, doing all this shit. This is the one, yeah, it's a 7.5, you know. This guy's like, yeah, we'll just, here, fab this one up for now. There's plenty of people out there. I'm not saying he doesn't have the money. I'm not saying he can't come with the money or this person or that person, whatever. But this is a 7.5. People are like, why would you put all that money into a 7.5? Wait. Shut the fuck up. It's a 7.5. It's fabbed up. Boom. There's 7.5s out there that are good enough for the street, fabbed up like that. You can run on the street. You're running a hard tire. You're not going to hook that hard on the street. But somebody looks under the car and sees a 7.5. They think instantly they got the car beat on the street. Okay, boom. Well, then maybe this 7.5 kicks your ass. 7.5s are a dime a dozen. Some 7.5s go together fine. Everything, you never had a problem. Most 7.5s, you end up with problems. I mean, you have to be so perfect on setting them up. But anyways, they're such a small tube that the tube bend, these bend, blah, blah, blah. I've told everybody that before. But bracing it all up, boom, so they don't bend. Cutting these bullshit ass G-body ends off. So many times I've cut these and drilled them and all that shit. Fuck that. Cut that shit off and put, you know, ones off of, these have been sitting here a minute, but, you know, take these, clean them up. They got the 4 holes. So, you know, box Chevy 7.5, box Chevy 8.5, whatever. This one here, he got the Camaro, newer Camaro, with same bolt up. This is a 10 bolt, 12 bolt up. That's what the bolt pattern is. Boom, for the brake, shit like that. So he got this, what was it, 89 Camaro, 90 something Camaro, whatever, rear end, and we gutted it. The center's gonna go in there, the gear, the posi, that shit, and these ends are gonna go on here. So we just measure it to the backside, boom, like I said, everything's laid out on there, bro. Saying the same shit over and over, showing the same shit over and over, but I'm just trying to teach people, you know, if you can work a grinder and a cutoff wheel and this and that, and you know how to weld, and you want to follow some of this little shit, you'd be able to figure it out, you know. How do people start doing stuff? They start doing stuff because they figure out stuff, they watch stuff, and they start doing it. But then you got other people out there that think they can do shit, and they just keep doing nasty shit over and over and over. And then you got the ones that hide the nasty work. And you got the ones that say they fabbed up a rear end, but they didn't fab up the rear end. They ordered it like that. So, there you go. Back and forward. Trying to get the caddy out the way. And like I said, never thought it was going to be that big of a deal. Ended up being a pain in the ass. Not the deal, it's just the car. I didn't think it was that bad, and it's horrible how they did it. So, trying to hurry up, get that out the door, everything we got to do. We're waiting on a bracket from Todd TCE for the back to be able to get the caliper on there with the right backspace, this, that, whatever. But if I got to space it, I can space it. I know how to space it. I know how to shim it all up to make it work. The caliper will be on the back side of the rear end and down, clocked. The end will be clocked. So like I said, they had the caliper here, and it was fucking hitting the frame here when the car sat down. So the caliper will be back here, down, and the super draw boxes will be on here, and they'll be in, you know? I mean, look at the width of where that lower control arm, boom. So we'll have all this room, the caliper, you know, be over here. I don't know, some people just gotta pay attention. I know the place that did this nasty work didn't do the gear setup, because this gear setup is set up so perfect. All the markings that they did, I mean, they marked everything. The shims have the writing on them, everything, boom. The assembly lube and stuff like that they use to put the axles in, to put everything together. Nice work, whoever did that, nice work. But yeah, so it's nice and dusty in here, smoky in here. Cutting that rear end and cutting this rear end, and you know, making the metal mess on the floor. But yeah, sometimes shit takes time. The super drop boxes, normally I'll have sets of them here. Well, I haven't been able to stock them. So, but all right, y'all, Bankroll Tim bedded up. That's all I got for you right now. And I'll be back with some more of the business. Bankroll Tim, I'm out. Appreciate y'all.